Come on in, okay, people, let's get the ball rolling. We have a guest speaker who we've been publicising for a great deal of time. You may think that as it's a guitarist, as a vocalist, you might think it doesn't have any relevance. But if I can ask you a question, does a vocalist and a guitarist get to a sound check at the same time? Do they both perform on an album? Sometimes, unless it's an instrumental album, yeah. So there will be lots and lots of similarities with regard to the role of a performer. If you're a first year, you will remember that only 4 out of 35 first years decided not to pursue or investigate the role of a performer. 31 out of the 35 want to look at the role as a performer. So therefore, these are the type of topics. I know Whitney has got questions. Instead of you having to ask, I think she's going to provide them to Marcus to look at. With regard to session musicianship, again, you might find if you're, let's say, a vocalist, you might think, well, what relevance does that have? I want to be a performer in my own right. It has every bit of relevance. You want to find out who are the people that you're going to communicate with. If, let's say, you're Kira Gabrielle, Kiva, any of these individuals who are looking at people that they're looking to communicate with, you want to find out maybe the thoughts of Marcus in that role, those type of things which are very, very significant. So, without further ado, I will welcome to the stage my great friend, band colleague, and former tutor here, Marcus Flynn. Give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Nick. I will start by saying that you guys do actually have some excellent teachers here. I can vouch for that. A lot of colleges where you go to, the teachers teach, but they don't actually go out there and play and perform. These guys, I can vouch that they actually do that, so you're very lucky, and you'll probably give your teachers a round of applause, actually. Because I normally don't give them a round of applause. Right, the stage has been, is it safe? Yeah, it is, yeah. So you guys have come on a music course for 2, some of you for 3 years, and you want a job in the music industry. Does anybody not want a job in the music industry? Can ignore some of the bits that I say. So most of you want a job in the industry. Now some of you, within the first couple of minutes, will, like Nick said, have made a decision if there's anything I've got to say of any importance to you. And that will be, you've made a couple of decisions about me based on the t-shirt I'm wearing, or it could be my age, or it could be to do with the fact that I used to be a teacher here and I'm thinking, she's got nothing I've got interest to say today. And that's all right, that's perfectly normal to think that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you a couple of things about the music industry from somebody who works as a professional musician in the industry. So I'm kind of where some of you are wanting to go in terms of a job. And to say what I do, or in terms of what I have done over the years, Nick's asked me to speak to you mainly about the session side of the music industry, which is, does anybody know what a session musician does? Do tell us.
They play on recordings, and they can get some, they can get
That's a good account. Now, how many singers have we got in the room? Come on. How many singers does it take to change a screw-in light bulb? One to hold it, and then the ward revolves around them. I think the answer to that one. Didn't get no.
Shots fired.
So how many bass players have we got? Oh, quite a few. And guitarists? Yeah. And drummers? Oh, I've got a few of those. Okay.
Telling me drummers jokes.
I used to do about 40 at one stage, but... Okay. You're all musicians, you're all on the course. The idea is you're going to get 2 years, and then some of you are going to go to uni, but at the end of the day, you all don't want a proper job, right? Yeah? And that's a good enough reason for me to become a musician. I didn't want a normal job. So what do I do? And how have I got any right to stand up here and talk to you? Okay. As a session guitarist, primarily playing on TV and film mainly, I would have played on songs and TV productions that you might have heard of, say, Match of the Day. There's a bit of guitar in there. Jackass, the movie. Bear Grylls, if anybody watches that, big awful guitar playing in the background. Ice Truckers, the slide guitar in Ice Truckers. I played on the One show, the acoustic guitar. I do the 7 Nations rugby, how many nations there are, I do the guitar on that. Do the guitar for Sky Sports. Do like guitar for the Grand Prix, the bits when the guys are going around the tracks. I've played on a couple of records. I played on a track by Beyonce, if anybody knows of her, probably know that, a couple of years ago. I've played on loads of little sessions in the background. I've played for mainly TV and film. But the idea of all this is, how do you get from college and out of college and get to be able to play sessions? This is a big question, isn't it? Well, the first thing is, most people seem to think, I've heard it said before, I'm going to try and make it in the music industry, and if all else fails, I'll become a session musician or something like that. If I could just say it is the other way around, that if you are thinking of becoming a session musician, you know, the competition is off the scale and you've really got to be quite elite. It's really very specialist. Now, if some of you play more than one instrument, could you put your hands up? Yeah, that's good. That kind of helps a little bit because it gives you an extra opportunity to be able to get more work. But the main thing is that once you start to get yourself noticed as a musician, it can be playing in a band, and a lot of you, I'd imagine, are in original bands at the moment. Once you start to get noticed, you then need to kind of expand your repertoire, your playing, or your singing style, or your bass, or to be able to move across more than one style. Now, how many of you could play more than one style of music? Right, well that's quite good. How many of you could play 2 styles of music? Okay. Well, 3, 4 maybe? Good. 5 or 6? Okay, it's getting thinner, isn't it? Okay, so thinking in terms of you getting work in the industry, you know, think of 10 or 11, 13 different styles of music. Now, the only reason I got to do the guitar and Ice Truckers was that they didn't know anybody else who could play slide guitar. So for a start, it doesn't matter how good I was, it was just a fact that I could play slide guitar, so there's a job. So thinking about it in terms of vocalists, there's quite a few vocalists amongst you. In terms of session work, how do you become busy as a vocalist? Well, it normally starts off with, it could be that you do backing vocals on somebody's record. And the next thing from that is that somebody hears the record and they said, oh, who did the singing on that track? You know, and then your name might come up if you're the singer. And then you get asked to play on a second track and a third track, and slowly you build up your name as a backing vocalist. Now there's quite a few singers I know in the industry that just make their living solely as a backing singer. And I know a girl, Fiona, who sings for Jules Holland and people like that, and she goes out and she regularly goes on tour. And that's all she wants to do, but she's just a session backing vocalist. And most top singers that you all like, when they go out on tour, they'll have a backing singer, a group of backing singers, and that's their job. So that's like one avenue for you to sort of think about. If you're a bass player, sorry about this, Nick, but if you're a bass player, it's the same thing, is you're going to start to play probably in the band that you started off in, and some other band will be short of a bass player and you'll stand in, maybe. And then you'll do a recording, and then there's more recordings of you getting out there. And then word gets around that you're a competent musician, and lots of people in different styles of music, different areas, ask you to play on their records. So it's a kind of how you build your career is a really important thing here. And becoming really versatile on your instrument, which is absolutely important. Now, what's the difference between an amateur musician and a professional? And I'm going to ask Declan this question.
Timing.
Timing, well, yes, that could be that. What makes you define, if you said that, somebody said to you, oh, he's a professional musician, what would you think from that?
I get paid for it.
He gets paid for it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. The difference between you guys having a job in Tesco's and B&Q's or having a job in a band or as a singer or performer is that you get paid for it. And my role today is to kind of open that door a little bit for you and try and help you understand how that works. Nobody in the room, unfortunately, is going to be successful at music unless you get paid for it. So you're going to fall into one of these categories, okay? You're going to be an amateur musician, which means you don't get paid for it, and you do it for the love of it, and you enjoy it, and it's good fun. You can be a semi-professional musician, and you've still got a job, but you earn a few pounds here and there playing in bands over the course of the year. Or you can be a professional musician, which means everything that you do derives from your talent as a musician. So the most important question that anybody would ever ask you as a professional, any working musician is, and this is going to be it, you're ready for this, it's the most important bit of information you never get. And when you go home tonight and someone says to you, did you learn anything at college today? You can go home and say this one thing. I want you to think now on the instrument that you play, if you're a singer, bass player, guitarist, drummer, who's going to pay you for it? I can see that. He's got a point there. You mean somebody has to pay me for it? Yeah. Somebody, somewhere, out there, will pay you for playing music. I know who those people are, and you don't. That's the difference. Just that. That's all it is. So if I tell you their telephone numbers now, you can take it and you can go and we'll be sorted. But it's not as easy as that, is it? Is there anybody you can think of? Can anybody think of somebody now who will pay them to play their instrument?
Venue owners.
Who?
Venue owners.
Say that again.
Venue owners.
Venue owners, that's a good one. Right, anybody else?
You.
Me? I could hire you for a session, it's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it's true. Anybody else? Who's going to pay you? Come on. Venue owner, landlord, similar thing. Yeah. Declan?
Producer.
A producer. Does anybody know what a producer does?
He produces music and uses the software to set up the instruments and mix them together, along with the mixing engineers to do the job
Absolutely, it's great. Did you? The PRS, blimey, you've done some research, haven't you? Yeah, I'll talk about the PRS in a minute. That's a good one.
A&R.
And
A&R.
A&R. Oh, crikey, you have been doing some research. Well done. Okay, so you as a group of musicians here have got various outlets that are going to pay you. Now, the PRS is one of them. I guess you all know a little bit about the PRS. I've had a lot of experience with the PRS. Basically, it works like this. If I do a session for the television, or the radio, or an artist, there's 3 types of royalty payment. Okay? The first one is a performance royalty for the songwriter. Now, if you've written the song, then you're going to get a royalty for that. If you're a session musician, you're not, because you didn't write the song. Okay, the second type of royalty is a mechanical royalty, and that's what's used when people take your recordings and they make a recording of it and they play it on the radio. And guess what? Every time they make a copy of your recording, they've got to pay you for it. Sounds good, doesn't it? But of course, as a lonely session musician, you don't really get mechanicals, as they call in the trade. So, that leaves you with one other performance royalty, which is not a lot really, which you would get just as an artist playing on the record. So if you were to think about the whole of the type of royalties that are available to you, if you're a songwriter, who writes songs in this room? Come on, let's have a bit better look than that, yeah. Okay, you guys can go and order the car now.